Flexibility. Every climber is weak in this field, from the casual to the more serious to the toppish elites. Generally speaking, the climbing populace is not as flexible as one would like to imagine. Every single climber says they could use more flexibility, but then proceeds to do absolutely nothing about it. And I'm here to tell you, when it comes to climbing, flexibility, not that important, really. I can do this, but at the end of the day, I still get crushed by climbers that are just more better than me and not nearly as flexible as me. Maybe your technique sucks, or maybe climbing isn't an activity that demands a high level of flexibility. Generally, the thing that makes the climb more difficult is the size and shape of the handholds that changes as the grade ascends, along with the tilting of the angles. It's hardly ever the distance of your feet or the openness of your hips that will more or less upgrade the grades of the climb. And because of this, it's only natural that the more you climb, the more the required strength for the activity gets strengthened. Fingers, back, while less necessary variables such as legs and flexibility, they more or less stay the same level of strength as when you started. And I'm not saying flexibility doesn't help, it most definitely does help, but being able to do this or this is way more advantageous than being able to do this or this. We can even see this in training programs and how their structure is normally about 10, 20, maybe 30 minutes of stretching, and then 3 hours of climbing and training. Quite evident where all the effort and time should be put into if you hope to improve upon this activity known as climbing. And now I do understand that I might be slightly underselling the importance of flexibility and its effect that it has on climbing, because ever since I started climbing I was already flexible, and I have never once uttered the phrase, "my hips," once while climbing. So it seems that flexibility, what it primarily does for me, is allow myself to climb uninhibited by my body, strange as that sounds. I never felt that the reason why I couldn't do a problem was because I was lacking in the flexibility department. So there is a downside called indoor climbing, because indoor climbing climbs are structured in a way to cater to the mass populace of aka not super flexible. When I see them, I tend to overreach with my feet, giving myself wrong beta. Though, put me outside where everything's a foothold, and all suddenly my extra mobility in my legs and upper body gives me approximately 10 to 20% more foot options and hold options than the average climber. Do I always use them though? No, of course not. And generally speaking, the most direct basic beta that's been done for years on years is the correct one. However, when I do use them and I get that 5 to 10% benefit from being super flexible, I am infinitely 100% glad that I've always been stretching to maintain and or increase my flexibility that I do currently have. So I do indeed recommend you stretch if you have that weakness that you need to fill in your climbing, which is probably like a 5 to 10% weakness. But I also want you to understand that there are so many more other things that you could be working on. But with that being said, I also want you to understand one more time, flexibility is very easily attainable. Annoying? Yes. Boring? But hard to acquire? No, not really. It requires practically no equipment. Be done anywhere, anytime. I will say though, easy come, easy go. If I don't stretch, my legs will start to close. So you can't do a climb because you lack flexibility. Understand, it is 100% your fault. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time, partner.